Sweet. So thanks everyone for coming. As you know, we're the Drexel Coffee Club, and we've been doing this little lecture series. This is our third one, and we're happy to welcome Blaze from Dript Coffee. Just a few quick announcements for Coffee Club before we get started. We have two more lectures coming up. We have one in, I think, 2 weeks with Vamo Coffee from Philadelphia. They're another new roaster. And that's gonna be cool. And we're gonna talk a lot about roasting, I think. And there's gonna be a sign up going out tomorrow for you to sign up to get 2 sample coffees, one Peruvian coffee and one coffee from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And it's gonna be like a comparison. And Luis is gonna talk about just like the differences in roasting them. So that should be pretty cool. And then after that, we have one with Blind Tiger Coffee. That's gonna be a little bit of a different format. To be more of a debate game kind of focus thing. So that'll be fun. Just keep your eyes out for those signups because those will be rolling out in the next few days or weeks. But yeah, now I'm going to turn it over to Blaze and let him do his thing. And if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat, or there'll be like a Q&A at the end. So just hold on to them if you want. But yeah, Blaze, the floor is yours.
Awesome, Zach. Thank you so much, brother. And welcome to everybody, to all the dragons out there, but also everyone who's joining, who's not from the school and from the area on our email list, you name it. Welcome to everybody, and thank you. Thanks for giving me the time, and just excited to share a little bit about us, and we'll go from there. Let's try to make this conversational. Feel free to interrupt me at any time. I'm an easy guy. Just if you got a question, shoot it in that chat box, or unmute and just ask away. So kind of to get rolling here, my name is Blaze Connor. I am the founder, CEO of Dript Coffee Co. And, I wanted to introduce my business partner who's not here right now, but with us in spirit, Sal Vernacchio. He's actually a fellow dragon, grad and alum from Drexel. He's bummed he couldn't make it, but he's with us in spirit. So that's who we are. And kind of as a little overview, I thought I'd give a little intro, go into like a little agenda, and then get the ball rolling. But let's make this conversational. Don't feel funny about chiming in, all right? So yeah, with that, as a little introduction, I did a little of my homework, all right? I went on, saw the list that you sent me, Zach, and I went on to check out where everyone is at Drexel. We got a really cool, diverse background. Sorry, I'm reading my notes as I speak here, so don't think I'm not paying attention right now. We got a lot of different majors here. In marketing, we got Gabrielle, Brandon. Engineering, we got, a ton of people. Celine, it looks like Avanisha, Grant, Margaret. In the business school, we got Chris, Greg, environmental concentrations with Hannah and Zach, and food, culinary, arts and sciences, Laura and Nora, and you name it. We got a diverse background here. So that's awesome to see. But also, in listening, I hope you guys can apply some of what I have experienced and what Dript Coffee is going through, and apply it either to your passion in school and life, you name it. So just excited to see the diversity here and how you guys can really make the world a better place because of it. So with that, let me say that Dript Coffee Co., we're not your typical roaster. Let me say that a lot of roasters you may experience, interact with, or have heard of, they're super technical, or some of them may be. And let me just say that is a gift. That is so cool to be, know the ins and outs of coffee, and whether it be the different brewing methods, the different extraction times, the different ways you can source coffee to make it really great in blends or single origins and all that. And that's a gift. And a lot of roasters you find have that talent. And Dript is a little different. We approach coffee in a little different way. We we're not at that stage yet with the technicality, but we're here to really make a really good freaking cup of coffee that you'll have, and that I think many of you have already enjoyed. I hope you're liking it. But also to have a great time doing it, and create a good experience with our customers. And at the end of the day, it's all driven by, Dript is all driven by helping people. I'm going to finish up with more of what drives us and our mission and our values, but just know that as a little background about Dript. We're here to have a good time. We're laid back, and we're going to get you a good specialty cup of coffee right along with it. And so with that little background, let me just give you a little schedule of what I thought we'd go through. So I can first speak a little bit about our founding story, the story of how we came about, then jump into some new developments, the next chapter, Dript, and where we're going with innovations and the vision there. And lastly, let's wrap it up with some values and, what makes us tick, what drives Dript. The why, I think, is the most important part in anything you do, whether it's business, coffee, your studies, your job. I think that's the most important. So we'll finish up with our why, our values, and our mantra. So let's jump right in. Again, feel free to chime in. I want to make sure everyone, has questions being answered. So I'll start with the story. It's funny. I love kicking off with this. Born and raised in Baltimore, I was. Didn't drink a lick of coffee. How about that? My mom, she used to grind beans every morning. She's a nurse, and she would be up, 6 a.m. grinding beans, drinking coffee. I'm like, Mom, you can't drink that stuff. It's going to stunt your growth. It's gross. So it's just funny to me, ever since the beginning, I never drank coffee when I was young. Changed a little bit though. When I came up to school at St. Joe's, I went to college at St. Joe's, started in 2013, and it was there where I got my first taste in some of the local chains of coffee that were in the cafeteria. Man, I couldn't, I couldn't shy away from the smell in the cafeteria. So I was like, all right, let's give this stuff a try. So some of the local chains, I started with that. Then I graduated from college, started working in finance. And it was at that time where two things happened. Working in finance was great for me, and I still do. I still work a side job. But, a part of me thought, like, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. I had free time. And I was like, let's do something more with this free time. Let's find a way to help people. So I'd been searching, for a little side gig, something to do on the side where I could really make a difference and help people. And it all came into fruition when I started traveling as I was graduated from college and in the working world. We, whether it be to the beach, to different cities, back home to Baltimore, to the West Coast, you name it. I found myself when traveling kind of getting really jacked up to try new roasters. So that was the transfer then that went from the local chains in Philly to, hey, why don't we look into these small businesses, these specialty coffee roasters, and became a passion of mine. And I always say, Sal and I always say, Dript is born in the city but inspired by the shore, and that's where it started. Through the travels, and seeing the different roasters we had. And it was at that point, when I got back to Philly, each time I'd be like, man, how cool would it be to marry that passion of helping others with that interest in specialty coffee that's growing in me. So then and there, I was like, boom, the idea. And, that's when I was like, well, I have the idea. It's really difficult to get to every single roaster for everyone, right? So much good talent out there. There's got to be a more convenient way to access it all. And so I started Dript, made a platform for all the local roasters in Philadelphia, at least as much as we can get on the platform, to be showcased and to go out to our subscribers with a different coffee from a different roast in each shipment. So that's where the idea came to be. And I just started reaching out to different local roasters, and the rest was history. You're seeing it. That's kind of where Dript came from. And we've been able to help over 100 different subscribers now try different specialty coffees from around the greater Philly area, but also help local business, which I always say Philly loves Philly, and that's so important to I'm sure all of you and Philadelphia in general. So that's the distribution side of the beginning of our story. And that's a good time for transition, because up to that point, it was great. I had these relationships with the roasters. I'm getting feedback from customers saying like, oh man, this is so fun. Thank you so much. Give me feedback about, hey, I didn't like this roast, send me something like a little more mellow or a little more dark, or, just get more interaction. I'm like, that's the stuff I love, right? But this thought came back to me in my head. I was like, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. With e-commerce, it's very limited to, maybe customer interaction only through email or through text. Very limited to me, and I'm like, I gotta make a bigger impact. I gotta be able to help more people, make a bigger difference in more people's lives. And so that led me to think of different ways that Dript could do that, right? Help people through coffee. And it got me thinking, what about our own product, right? We could not only continue to touch e-commerce, people on the internet ordering through e-commerce and customers there, but think about the opportunity in different channels, like small businesses in the local area, restaurants, bars, hotels, you name it. The floodgates open when you have your own product, and you can really share what you want to give to the world, and you can really share your vision more and values more freely. So it was at that point where I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's go make our own product. Let's figure out how to put a really cool specialty craft roast out there for those Drexel dragons to try. And so, it was at that same time when I got that idea that I was talking with Sal a lot more. And for Sal's a very humble guy. He would never say some of the stuff I'm about to say him and praise him on. He and I had been talking a lot about his job. He's in the science industry. He does research and development out in the Malvern area. And, he had been kind of toying back and forth with brewing his own beer and mead. So he kind of fit the mold for a craft roaster. And we had been talking back and forth about, hey, how cool would that be if Dript started their own coffee, and how cool would it be if we could really put a roast out there? And so, I realized that Sal did have a special gift for producing his own craft, and he could be that guy. And let me tell you, I thought about this, and I owe him these points of praise, because you got to understand the type of guy we're dealing with, who's the co-owner, the COO, the head roaster of Dript. He's very thoughtful in his planning, detailed in his process or analog, very self-reflecting about his finished product and how could he improve upon it. And at the same time, incredibly passionate about it and respectful of the craft. So there's a lot you guys could take from that too, and applying that to what you're doing at school, your passion in coffee, and you know, anything you want to do in your careers afterwards. There's a lot to learn from Sal, and he combines all of those qualities and competencies and does it in the lab. And I was like, Sal, let's do it in coffee. So we got to talking about the details. You know, he got on board, and we became partners. And you know, we're like, all right, let's jump into it. Let's jump into the roasting and putting out a blend. So we're super excited, but we got a lot of work to do, right? I think it all started. I'll name the points where we started to kind of think about how to roast coffee. Roaster, number one, figuring out, you know, hey, what equipment, what commercial roaster could benefit us the most with not only our self-funding, but with putting out a really good product. And right off the bat, we found our friends at Mill City Roasters out in Minnesota. We contacted them. We're back and forth about different size roasters to get. Ended up going with the 1 kg size, a little small, but hey, we're here to grow, and we'll I'm sure grow into different size roasters as we go. But Mill City, look them up when we're done. They're an incredibly helpful team, just a great group of people, and helped us, you know, narrow down the roaster search, and we got it to the city. So we checked that box. Next was the green coffee. And, you know, I don't know if any of you are familiar with kind of sourcing the coffee, but we were like, oh man, we have no idea how this works. So we were kind of chopping through it as we went. It kind of started with us reaching out to different importers. We're not at the size, or maybe haven't developed the relationships yet to go straight to a farm and directly source. So we have used importers up to this point, and you know, kind of knocked on some doors virtually, because this process started in COVID, and you know, met with some people over in California, the East Coast, some guys in the Midwest. Ended up going with cafe importers as well as Bodhi Leaf coffee traders out in Cali. Chris, I don't know if you've heard of them, but good people too. And you know, I can remember the first time we got in touch with them and started ordering samples to start developing a profile that could give us our ideal coffee. You know, we got this shipment of like 20 samples, and we were like, oh man, this is gonna take so long to taste. Oh my gosh. So we probably sat down over 2 weeks and, you know, tasted different origins. The Guatemalas, the Honduras, the Perus of the world, Indonesian, and Sumatra, and you know, all with the mindset of, hey, we want to get this really cool, easy to drink, anytime, anywhere, take it with you, cup of coffee out there. In the back of our mind, that was the profile that we wanted, and you know, we tasted each of these samples with that in mind. How can we accomplish this profile? So, you know, from there, we found a couple beans that we loved, namely what you're drinking today. The Peru, we have a portion of the blend from Peru, another portion from Brazil. Brazil's a really good base origin for blends. And lastly, we found a really good Sumatra. Hey, thanks, Maggie. Heck yeah. We found a really good Sumatra from our boys over at Cafe Imports. So combined all those together, we knew that was our composition of the blend, but then we were like, all right, we got to figure out how we want to roast it, on what scale do we want this roast. So we went from, medium light to medium dark. Medium dark was a little bitter, didn't bring out all the flavors that we wanted, and we ended up going with the true medium in our mind. I mean, I know there's different strokes for different folks in terms of the roast spectrum, but ours we feel like is a true medium. And we really think it highlights that toffee that in Zach's words, which I think put it pretty well. It's a welcoming coffee, right? It's got that milk chocolate, the toffee, the nutty flavors.
I know, I'm trying to find my glasses. Oh wait, I found them. No, I just wanted my glasses.
But anywho, I think it made for a really cool inaugural roast for Dript, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. And so, that's been great, and we can't wait. We're actually in the stage right now of finishing the art for our 12-ounce bags. They're coming in probably in another 6 to 8 weeks. Right now, you guys are tasting the samplers that we have, and from there, when we receive those 12-ounce bags, get it out into the world, baby. Whether it be stores or small businesses in the area, restaurants, bars, hotels, you name it. We're just trying to get it out there. So that's where we are. That's where we're going with it, right? That's the next chapter in the vision. But like I said, any questions, guys? Any questions before I move on to kind of the last portion of what I want to talk about? All right.
Yes, sorry. Actually, I do have a question.
Yeah, Lev, go ahead, brother.
Do you know, what kind of process is this coffee? Is this like a washed or a natural?
Yep. Now, I wrote all this down because I wanted to make sure I was giving you all the goods. So, the Peru, okay? It's 60% Peru, the blend is. The Peru portion is washed, all right? The Brazil's next. That's 35% of the blend. That is a natural processed coffee. And same with the Indonesian. The Indonesian is a 5% blend, kind of tops it all off with a little bit of aroma. We like to leave that Indonesian in there because the aroma, the earthy, herbaceous type of notes you get with it. And that's 5% natural from the Mandaling Sumatra region. So we got all the bases covered for you there, Lev. How about that?
Yeah, it's really great. It's really easy to drink.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Kind of comforting to hear that we've almost accomplished what we wanted to set out to do, right? So, so if there aren't any more questions on that, or if you have some later, feel free to do it in the Q&A. But I wanted to move on to the why, to the values, the mantra, the mission of Dript. Because like I said in the beginning, I think that is the most important part to business, to life. You got to have that purpose. And I think it drives everything you do. So let me, you heard about the start of our story. Now we have a product. That's great and all, right? But, so what? Anyone can make a product and put it out there. But there's a little more to it, I think. And I'm sure you can guess what the kind of the values are based on, what I mentioned at the beginning about why I started it and all. But there needed to be a purpose. And let me tell you, team, I'm a man of faith. Okay. It's very, very important to my life. And I wanted to transition that into business. So, into a business and have a mantra and values that's focused around, why I'm here on this earth. That's to serve others. Okay. And so we came up with a mantra and a set of values that kind of transition that purpose that I have for Dript Coffee Co. Mantra being a rising tide lifts all boats, right? We get that little combination of the city and the shore in there, the shore with the drift and the rising tide. And the values are serve others, build our community, and deliver quality. Okay. I can't stress enough how much that matters to who Dript is, you know, how we interact with you, how we interact with wholesale partners, with every small business. It's almost like you could almost say that we are so heavily focused on our values that, you know, we put them before, you know, business matters. You know, take that to your business school teacher, see what they have to say about that, right? But it's really integral to who we are, and it drives every single thing we do. So, you know, at the very least, I hope you could gain that from your interaction and from the story you heard with me today. But you know, our next chapter is to bring those values, to bring the coffee, and to bring the story to more home coffee drinkers, to more businesses in Philadelphia and beyond, to more restaurants, bars, hotels, cafes, so we can spread that, and at the end of the day, help more people. So look, I wanted to keep it within about, you know, 30 minutes of me talking, and now we can get into some more Q&A and convo. But at the end of the day, thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me share the story. And I invite you to join in our mission, our values at Dript, and I invite you to be that tide, you know, that lifts and improves the lives of everyone through coffee. So with that, again, thank you. And let's jump into some cues. How about it?
Yeah, Blaze, I have a couple questions. Great presentation, by the way. I really appreciate you sharing all of your values that you operate on. Random question. Do you have a specific roasting space, or are you still like operating in one central location?
Yeah, sure thing. So business headquarters is technically in my apartment in Philly. So this is one of the smallest of small businesses that you guys might come across. But in terms of our roasting space, that's actually Sal's garage. We set it up pretty nicely out there. He's in Gibbstown, New Jersey. So great amount of space that we have, and thankfully the roaster's not too large, so it doesn't have a huge effect on any of his house or anything, but it's cool. I should send some pictures over. You know, we got this matte black Mill City roaster out there on some cool tables. We got those coffee sacks, you know, laid out there, and when we get those 12-ounce bags, and we got two other side tables for, you know, the scooping and bagging and heat sealing and everything. So it's pretty cool operation over there. But you know, one step at a time, Chris. I think we're starting small. We're doing it the right way, and when the time comes, hopefully grab some maybe some commercial space, or even commercial/retail space in the city here. But that is the current stitch.
Sweet.
Yeah. I guess a classic startup, if you want to call it, you know, out of the garage, right?
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. Thank you.
If no one has another question, I'll ask another question. What does the process look like for you when you are taking on like a new roaster to feature on your subscription service? Do they reach out to you, or are you reaching out to them?
Yeah. Good one. That's actually, I kind of schemed over washed over that in the beginning. It was cold calling, man. Like I reached out to, I forget who the first one was. It might have been might have been Rival Bros. And I just called him up. I was like, you know what? What do I got to lose? And I called up, I think it was Damien or it might have been Jonathan. I shot him an email and then I followed up with a call. And next thing you know, I get an email back saying, hey, let's chat. I'll put you together with my wholesale manager. So I work with Bruno for a lot of that, as well as Ben in the operations. But, at first I was intimidated, but I was like, you know what do I got to lose? I got nothing to lose. Let's start it. Let's start building these relationships. Let's start helping others, including those roasters. And yeah, next thing you know it, they all came back with almost like, why not do it? Right. It only helps them. It only helps them increase their sales, build their brand, spread their values along with ours. So I kind of went running with it after that. And luckily now we have, or fortunately now we have 15, I think running on 16 on the platform for the distribution side, the roaster side of the house, and 17 with Dript Zone Roast. So it's cool. It was a cool experience, but really kind of gave me a kick in the butt. Like, hey, this is the real world. Let's make it happen. You got to reach out. Maybe some of you guys in finance or business school might go into sales. I know, I think my buddy Jim Lake's on here right now. He knows the sales life, baby. Got
to grind it out, right, Blaze? Grind it out.
That's right, man. That right on. You got to grind it out. But you also find confidence in that sales approach and that outreach with the values that you have, and you always know you're doing the right thing. So that's kind of where we started out, Chris.
Right on. Well, I definitely think Zach and I have some connections to share with you, because there's some people looking to hop on.
Cool.
If you're looking 5 or 10 years down the road, what do you anticipate, I guess, the share of your business being? Still mostly subscription, or do you want to be half and half with, your own roast, or
Sure.
what does that look like?
Great question, man. And Sal and I talk through this all the time. From a business perspective and a relationship values perspective, we want it to be 50-50. Because, while, it just all goes back to that mantra, rising tide lifts all boats, man. So if we can include more people, share the wealth, share the spread of the brands of our roasters while sharing our story too, good things are going to happen. We do want to make it 50-50. Not going to lie, right now it's a heavy emphasis on our own roast. We've invested a lot to start that, so that is at the first priority. However, just 2 days ago, I got an office in West Philly reach out to me saying, hey, we'd love for our office to try that the roaster mix on subscription, and maybe have your blend be the constant, right? So how cool is that? We were able to implement our blend as a wholesale account or a sales account with this office, but also help other roasters out by giving them a variety. So I just think that being a roaster first, but a distributor as well, helps share the wealth, helps other people, and at the end of the day, is a cool business model, but also pretty smart too.
Blazer, this is Ryan. What's up, man?
Yo, what's up, Hartman? How's it going, brother?
Good. I've got a question for you. From your background, do you think has helped you most in starting the company, and as well as continuing it now? As I know you've had many different backgrounds, not just in business, but what would you say has helped you the most?
So good, thank you, Rai. Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I would think two different areas of my life. First and foremost is my faith. Let me tell you guys that starting your own business, either by yourself or with a business partner, is tough. It's lonely, right? Probably even 6 months to a year into Dript, we weren't getting a ton of traction. And I mean, heck, we're still a small business, right? But you have to keep the faith, right? You gotta know that what you're doing is the right thing, and stay persistent, regardless of how tough it may be. That applies to anything in life. Okay. Number two, I'd say, was the sales experience that I got at my first job over in finance at Morgan Stanley. It taught me how to present myself in a way that is, I think, genuine to who I am, while also, selling the value to the end customer, selling the value of the variety in their subscription, selling the value of the service of these offices that we'll provide that goes above and beyond. Okay. So I'd say it was twofold. Definitely my faith, from my upbringing, my family, my parents, and also from a sales perspective and sales experience, about just hitting the ground running. I think those are the two points about, what really got me going in business. So thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that answer. It's well thought out.
Thanks.
I have a question on the distribution side of your business.
Yes,
so,
Josh, what's up?
So with e-commerce being the only real thing right now in COVID, and obviously subscriptions are a big part of the business, how would you feel the best way to get the most productive way of getting your product out there and marketing it to people, people learning about it has it been social media, or just email blasts, or a website?
Sure thing. Joshua, you're just targeting the distribution side, right? With that question? Yeah. So with the start of everything, the approach was the long game. It always has been for me, and for Sal as well. And we started off with just the website, just e-commerce, right? And we didn't see things picking up until, again, probably 6 months to a year out. And that was really mainly through SEO, search engine optimization. So it's a little bit of kind of a, maybe you marketing majors may know it, in business majors, it's kind of optimizing how people search for your product on Google. That really started to pay dividends actually during the holiday time. We realized that people are searching for, like coffee gifts or something like that. And so we have a gift subscription, and a lot of people honed in on that. And we saw a lot of growth and sales through that. So SEO was number one. Number two, we're starting to find out is different partnerships or collaborations that we have through Philly. Let's see, even through, we did almost like a tour to shore a little while back. We at the beginning of COVID biked from, I think it was Commodore Barry Bridge. Oh, Jim was on that ride too. Man, I'm mentioning Jim all day, baby. But we biked from the tour to shore, or the Commodore Barry Bridge, all the way down to Avalon, raised some funds with the local roaster to support all of the roasters on our platform. So it's things like that. I think the online marketing, the SEO, as well as more word of mouth has been helpful too, and collaborations. I think that's a powerful way of getting your message out. That's what's helped us up to this point. But Joshua, let me tell you, man, a lot of work to be done. Okay, we're not done yet. A lot of work to be done. So thank you for the question.
No problem. I want to try more. I want to know where I can get it.
All right, man.
Hey, Blaze, it's Juliana. I have a question for you about any trends you're seeing on the subscription side that would help influence your guys' next roast with Dript. So are you seeing more like single origins, dark roasts, light roasts that would kind of help determine what you guys would put out there next?
Good cue. Let me tell you what the top subscription product we have on the platform, Juliana, is our solid subscription. That includes kind of your more familiar house blends. And people are liking more medium to medium dark. That's what we're seeing. And, you know, I think that has helped informed for everybody on the call and for Juliana, the roast that we put out. You know, that medium roast was definitely a more inviting, welcoming, approachable coffee that can touch, you know, the whole gamut of coffee drinkers out there, right? And we saw that was kind of the biggest target market in our data flow through the solid subscription. And no, that's not to say that we're not going to put out single origins. We hope to, you know, and holy smokes, I know that a lot of people on this, on the Drexel Coffee Club are, you know, super thoughtful and intricate about their tastes. And we'll hope to have some of those lighter roasts, those single origins out there. That's the goal. But right now, primarily, we'll kind of continue with the rising tide medium roast, and with the hope of, hey, maybe even by the summer having a medium dark to dark roast out there, all fueled by some of the trends we've been seeing in the subscriptions. Hope that answers your cue, Jay.
Definitely does. Great job.
All right, thanks.
Blaze, I have a question about, I guess just, you were talking about sampling the different coffees. You said you had like 20 different samples.
Yes, sir.
So I guess like when you went into sampling and you had this vision of like, just like the welcoming, like all day coffee, how did you decide, like, I'm assuming it was green coffee that you got samples of? Like, how did you decide like what roast level you wanted to roast it to? And then like, when you went through and sampled them, do you like, just like try them individually, or did you make sample blends and sip those? It's just like, I just feel like with a combination of 20 coffees, there's just a lot. And I don't know, like, I feel like in that process, I would be kind of just drawn to brewing or roasting it the way that I know I like coffee. But how did you kind of like take that step back and just be like, okay, this is for me, but it's also for a larger community. And like, remember that when making the blend.
Yes, sir. Another great question we got from our leader, Zach. Okay. It was a lot. So before getting into the roasting and sampling, I had been in touch with some of my really good contacts in the coffee world, either roasters in Philly or there's a specific roaster, Corey Avely Farms out of Baltimore. He helped me out a lot too. And I was like, hey man, where do you even start with some of the roasting, right? And Sal, like I said, very thoughtful, very, very detail oriented in his approach, came at it the same way and was saying, this is how you got to do it. You got to do, when you get a sample, you roast it in 3 ways. A medium or medium light, kind of like 3 ways on the spectrum. It could be medium, medium light, medium, medium dark, dark. And based on that, see how you like it, see how you like the taste. You got to get the different components of the coffee and how it tastes, and make sure, you know, that applies to the profile you want. So imagine doing that for 20 coffees, right? And then when you found the 3 coffees that you wanted out of the 20, doing that same process in a blend format, right? So after the individual coffees we taste, we had to go through that same, okay, we like these 3 guys, but what is the percentage composition in the blend we're going to have of each of these 3 guys, right? So we took it from the individual to then the blend level of trying to, you know, oh man, 80, 20, 10, or 80, 10, 10, or, you know, 70, 20, 10, you know, we came to a 60, 35, 5 decision. And it's all trial and error, Zach. And hey, that's the fun of it, right? How cool is that? And especially to Sal, I mean, how rewarding is that, right? To know that your blend, the craft you've worked so hard at the roaster is bearing fruit. You know, people like it. And after all that time it took, it's just a good quality product out there that we're getting great feedback from. So a long trial and error process, but very fun.
Yeah, cool. I have a quick follow-up to that, if it's okay. So again, like you sent me the brew guide. I guess when you were also making this blend, like, did you keep in mind that like most people when they brew coffee, it's probably just like on a drip machine as opposed to like a French press, or like, because I feel like the roast also affects that, because like there are some coffees out there that are just like phenomenal on pour over, but you try to put them in a drip or like a mocha pot and they just taste like garbage. Did you like have that on there at all, or do you think like roasting medium kind of catered to both sides of your subscribers?
Yes, another good one. Here's the thought process there. Our Rising Tide blend that we first put out was designed to be more of a pour over or a kind of auto drip type coffee. That is what we focused on. Now, another side to that is what I mentioned in the beginning. We're not as technical yet as many roasters are. We're learning as we go, brother. So let me tell you, with the next blend, you know, our goal is to put out a really solid dark roast that is good with the same drip capacities, but also plays well with some cold brew. And then, hey, maybe after that is some more single origins, you know, and that's a whole different extraction process too, depending on how they're roasted. So to answer your question, it's learn as we go, trial and error. But the most and that's okay. But the most I think the biggest area of our target for that medium roast was more of the drip, and that's how we thought it best to start out. And yeah, down the road, there's definitely more to come. So, you know, stay tuned in, baby.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey Blaze, do you have like a favorite coffee roaster or coffee shop you've ever visited, or maybe like your favorite coffee experience, like your favorite cup of coffee? For any of like the coffee tourists on the line, do you have any places that you'd suggest visiting?
Yes, sir. Peter Bourne, what a gem of a guy. Right off the bat, went to California, went to San Diego, went up to Cardiff by the sea, and Bump Coffee, B-U-M-P. What a cool group of guys, man. They're really laid back. Got a lot of inspiration from some of the stuff they're doing over there. And for Dript, a lot of inspiration for Dript. And, you know, they got a really cool vibe, really approachable, as people like to say, coffee scene over there, and just good people. So Bump Coffee, that's my favorite, Peter. I'd suggest that if anyone's over on the West Coast. Chris, maybe you've had it, maybe you haven't, but BUMP, good guys, good coffee, good story.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Who else we got?
What about favorite roasters like in this area, like in Philly?
Kate, thank you. Yes, very important because it's where it all started. My favorite, let's see. Rival Bros Revolver will always be a go-to. That was great, but let me tell you, the one that actually stands out to me the most, one of our newer roasters on the platform, is Concave Coffee. They had my guy Rick over there. He put together a Columbia medium to medium light when they first got on our platform. Man, that blew me away. That oh my gosh, it's so good. I forget the reason. I have the bag somewhere saved here because it was that good. But I love the coffees he puts out, and I'd have to say that they're one of my favorites, along with Rival. And Rival's also close to me to where I live, so that helps too. But can't go wrong. You can't really go wrong in Philly. Let me tell you, Kate, you can't really go wrong. But thank you.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to unmute and I closed Zoom by accident. I guess this is just like a silly little question, but like you said, down the road eventually, like even having like a retail space for Dript, like I guess this is just like your vision, but like what do you envision that space looking like and sounding like, and like how do you, like you have this mission to like bring people in and like really engage the community, like how is the Dript space gonna do that? Like I don't know if you've thought about that at all, but I wonder what your thoughts are on that.
I'm with you, man. You're a visionary too. I like how you're thinking. So Sal and I, we're dreamers too. We want to get to the point where we can start a whether it be a retail shop, maybe even a coffee truck, to get started. And you're right, it's all about building that community, delivering that quality in coffee, but also in experience, and serving others. My goodness, how much of a blessing would that be to be able to do that in person? So yeah, that's the goal down the line. The goal for the experience is definitely like laid back. I think, again, a lot of the inspiration comes from my boys over at Bump. I mean, they have no idea who I am, but I think that that they have a very West Coast kind of beachy type environment over there, and we would want to have some of that. A lot of the inspiration I have and Sal and I have talked about includes, thank you, Kate, includes the shore down in New Jersey, specifically Avalon, as well as different beach towns that I've been to. So I'd like to have like a little beach theme to it, get some good music going, just have a pretty simple menu, with maybe cold brew, some drip, and who knows, maybe a little either breakfast burritos or empanadas or something. Keeping it super simple and just in there for people to have a great time.
Blaze, this is Jim Lake. A good point about this shore area. We vacation down in Sea Isle City, and Avalon's probably a little better, and Stone Harbor is okay. But there's a big lack of good coffee in that area that I think you could really fill a void. Just great point on what you made prior to that.
Thanks. Yeah, Jim, thank you. And, a lot of it is due to the experiences we've had together at the shore and just being down there. And I'd have to agree with you. I think that while people are doing a great job at what they're doing down there, there is an opportunity for some more players, some more guys coming in to say, hey, we got some really great coffee and a really great experience as well. So there is opportunity down there, and I'd have to agree with you, Jim.
Hey Blaze, Tim Marsh here. How you doing, brother?
Tim Marsh, how you doing?
So I know you have big aspirations of growing Dript and scaling it across the country and whatnot. So can you tell us a little bit about your plans of scaling your business as well as maybe some of the biggest challenges to growing your business?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Tim. That is definitely a goal. Scaling, growing. Because at the end of the day, how cool would it be to have your passion be able to put food on the table for you and your family? That's the goal at the end of the day. And Tim, I think, and for everyone on the call, I think the most important part about scaling anything you do in life is keeping the values and the vision and the mission at center. Because that is what grows companies, the ones that have those values at the center of everything they do. So first and foremost, Tim, that is what is going to be an integral part to building the business. Second, if we want to end up doing, some cafes in different states, while that's down the road, we would have to find the right business partners and investors who genuinely believe in that vision too, right? In anything you do, you're gonna have to have capital if you don't already have it yourself. So that would be another stepping stone, finding the right people to help build your mission. That's also a challenge, I think. And geez, I mean, I don't know everything, but that's just from what I have learned in reading and in business so far, is that you got to be able to build a company with vision, values first, and find the right people to help you do it. Both of them are integral parts to building a business. Both of them are integral challenges, I think. So, Tim, thanks for the question. I mean, probably the best I could answer it right now. A little vague, but thank you.
No, that's great. And I think your values and the company's values are what makes you guys so great and special. So yeah, I think that's definitely the right way to go about it. So thank you.
Amen. Thanks.
I just want to add, if anyone has any questions that come up after the event, feel free to shoot an email to the Coffee Club Gmail, and we can send it over to Blaze and get you guys in contact if you have any other questions. But yeah.
Yes. Hey, and Zach, just before you wrap up, if anyone does need to reach out, always here to help, always an open book. My email is Blaze, BLAISE @dript.com. Always here to help or to talk. So thank you. And if you do have any other questions, feel free to reach out either to me or Zach, and we'll get in touch.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You bet, Kate.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, everybody. Maggie, thank you. It was really nice to meet all of you and to be on. So thank you, and get out there and help others, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming, everyone. Sweet. I'm going to stop the